Fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Perusa MMA. Today we got a fun one. My guest getting ready, competing week 2 of the Dana White Contender Series. He is the Wolverine. He's the 10-1, Mr. Logan Paxton. Logan, what's up, my friend? How are you?
Let's go. Thanks for having me on. I'm doing great and excited to be part of the show.
Absolutely, man. So really cool news for you. Found out that you're going to be on the Dana White Contender Series. We've seen you do great things on the regional scene, more recently with APFC. What's your experience been like at APFC? You've quickly, after 2 fights there, become one of the main attractions.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Honestly, so I don't know if you know this or not, but I actually signed with Showtime about a year and a half ago. So Anthony Pettis, that management, Dane Rodriguez, Sergio, they're all my representation. And with that, when I signed with them, I kind of knew they had the show APFC, and I was hoping that I'd be one of the main guys to hopefully get on a Fight Pass show again, because it had been some time since I fought in LFA. So signing with them, that was one of my hopes, and they delivered. They put me on APFC within, I think it was like 6 to 8 months after we signed, on one of their first headliners in Albuquerque. And man, they do a solid show, top to bottom, smooth sailing, great people, and the fans in Albuquerque were electric. So having fought there twice, I made made a cool name for myself. Called my shot, punched my way through a couple opponents and finished them, and now I'm talking to you about this big news for the Contender Series.
You have definitely become one of the most entertaining and fun fighters to watch on the whole regional scene. Of your 10 wins, 9 by way of finish. Whenever anybody watches you fight, you're always looking for the finish. You're pressing the
Yes, sir.
pace. You're not really going backward. It's only forward. It's nonstop action. How much pride do you take in your fighting style?
Oh man, that it's that. So I come from a wrestling background, so I feel like that pays homage to my fighting style. It's like I feel like I'm like the bull in a china shop. When I'm in there, it's like just having that mentality, that grit that I've built through my wrestling background, and having wrestled all the way up to heavyweight against some big guys. It all just applies to my fighting style, to where I want to push the pace. I know I can go to deep waters. I know that I'm going to be stronger than most of these guys at lightweight. Even at welterweight, I feel like I can hold my own. So it's just really cool that I've adopted this pressure heavy, dominant, looking for the finish style. Because I mean, the funny thing I've been hearing with this season of Contender Series, they're only accepting guys who have like over a certain percentage of finishes. And so with my style, it just was the perfect coming together of my style and being able to be on this season.
You're a big D1 wrestler over at North Dakota State University. For you, having that wrestling experience, did that allow the transition to MMA to make it a lot easier?
Oh, big time. I'll say when I first started wrestling, I didn't quite know much about MMA. To be honest, I started pretty late in my high school career as a sophomore. That's when I just heard about wrestling, and I started doing it. But then I loved it, so I did it year round, and ended up going to Sacramento City College, All American there. Wrestled heavyweight in 197, and then I got my scholarship to wrestle Division One. And at that point, wrestling Division One was my mecca. Was like my what I really wanted to do. I wanted to go Division One. I didn't know why, but I just wanted to compete at the highest level. And slowly, as I got finally achieved that dream, I was okay. Well, what's the next thing? Is it NCAA's? Is it Olympics? Is it fighting? And kind of as I started figuring out that MMA was a thing and training with certain guys, I realized fighting was my true home, and like it just felt right. Like wrestling, I always loved it, but nothing has felt better than fighting, and nothing has really kind of like tested me and just made me feel like the best version of myself than being an MMA fighter. And wrestling, I think, attributes to that 100%.
This day and age, so many people are watching mixed martial arts. It's at such a big peak. Obviously, just at the White House on the biggest events in the world.
Crazy.
Very few people understand what it's like to be a professional fighter. When you're battling it out on the regional scene, you're not making Conor McGregor money. You're staying up
Mhm.
late. You're waking up early. You're sacrificing everything. It's hard to have a wife. It's hard to have kids. It's hard to have a relationship. You're doing everything maybe for the chance to fight in the Contender Series, chance to go to the PFL, chance to go to the UFC. You've been doing this for a very long time, man. You've experienced the highs. You've experienced the lows of it. Why did you continue? Why have you stayed striding forward here?
That's a great question. I want to touch upon the first part you said first, the White House card. Teammate Justin Gaethje got it done, so that's pretty freaking amazing. I'll say that right there has already inspired me and like lit a fire under my ass. And I know a bunch of my teammates to go out there and like just push ourselves in the gym and take these big fights and get it done in dominant fashion. Because he was a 6-1 underdog on the biggest stage, biggest platform, and he got it done. So kudos to him. And I hope to. I'm gonna follow suit on August 18th. But to your question, it's that it's that's a part of it. Is I've always just sought after challenges, and like I don't have to fight. I come, I have a college degree, a bunch of things. I come from a good background, great parents. It's not like I come from a certain environment that's told me that I had to do something or to keep me off the streets and those kind of things. I was very fortunate in my life, to be honest, and I will always say that, and I won't rest on it. But I in that I found that I always wanted to test myself. I felt like there was more for myself. Like I have these opportunities. I was a fortunate person, but I felt like I just wanted to test myself. And through finding wrestling, I was like, oh, this is one of the greatest tests you can do. Wrestlers are tough. And the fact that it's not a team sport, I can just, it's me, mano a mano, me versus that guy. You either win everything or you lose everything. And then I found fighting. And it's that to even a higher degree, because you can really get embarrassed because you think you're the guy, your ego's on the line, and you go out there and you get knocked out. And then it's like, well, where the hell does that put me? Most people, I think, in life shy away from that feeling. They're so terrified to put themselves out there and to risk it all and to like damage their ego, damage who they think they are. But I resonate, and I think I kind of revel in that, because I put in the work. I've tested myself against some of the best people in the world. I've constantly just strived to be the best man I could be in my relationships, in my personal life, in fighting, to where yes, I'm not making a ton of money. That's a fact, as you touched upon. I probably have lost money, honestly, up to this point when it comes to accepting these regional promotions and stuff like that, because a lot of times you got to pay for more coaches and travel and all these things, and it adds up. It adds up, and it's a grueling lifestyle to where I've had every injury under the sun too to keep me away from fighting and competing at the highest level. But at the end of the day, there's nowhere else I'd rather be, or nothing else I'd rather be doing. And it's funny because even for this fight, it's like so many fights, like it's a roller coaster of emotions and nerves and excitement and all these things. But the minute this got announced, I'll tell you, brother, like no BS. It's been nothing but elation and just like a good feeling of like, oh, like I was meant to be doing this, and there's no other place I'd rather be, and no other person I'd rather be fighting than Cristian Perez on August 18th. So it's been a hell of a ride, but I'm loving every second of it. It's so much fun.
For you, do you feel that fighting is more mental than it is physical?
Yeah, I'd say for those who can keep doing it the longest, mental is 100% what keeps fighters going. Because you hear the things about burnout, how guys have just been wrestling or just fighting and dealing with shit their whole lives to where they burn out and they kind of just don't have that love for it anymore. I've never experienced that personally with fighting, and I know I'm still I'm still in the middle of my career. Like I'm not towards. Obviously, I'm still getting towards my foothold in the UFC and certain things like that. But I'll say mental is definitely the biggest proponent of keeping you doing this the longest. The problem is though, you have a lot of guys with the physicality of injuries. So when injuries come into play and you're just throwing yourself against another fucking no, sorry, another body for a day in, day out, and it's just bone on bone and blood. It's just like you deal with injuries, and it can set you back and all those things, to where it's like the physical can affect the mental, but then the stronger the mental is, then you can get through the physical. So I feel like that's how they kind of play on each other. And I'll be honest, I like to equate my mental fortitude and what I've built through wrestling and fighting and just my journey as a fighter. I'd like to think I have a very strong mindset, and just it suits perfectly for this sport.
One thing I
Let's go.
love about the regional scene or in the Contender series, it's like an all-star game for big regional fighters. In my opinion, one of the top guys on the season, John Kuhneman, week one, absolute monster. Didn't get his opportunity last year. Going to try to do it this year. Is it pretty cool to be able to have that where either him, other guys you've seen you fight alongside, now all at one place trying to do the same thing?
Oh, big time. It's one of those things where it's like I've always been a part of it's an individual sport with wrestling, but it's also a team sport. Like when you're all going through the suck, the grind, the trenches, it always felt better. Like you have that camaraderie, you can kind of lift each other up, you know what you're going through. And right now, we have three fighters from Tiger Beetle going to Contender Series, me, John Kuhneman, and then Tom Pag. I don't know how to say his last name, but I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. It's a long last name, but all three of us getting the call around the same time, all around the same weight class, so we train together. It's pretty cool, and I think it's really intricate that we're probably one of the only gyms in the country that has three fighters on the verge of a UFC contract. So it's all just exciting things, and especially me and John Kuhneman, to where I've known him for about 5 years. We've been training together damn near every single day. He's my main training partner, and then we also, we used to live together. We go hiking all the biggest, baddest mountains in Colorado. So it's been a long time coming for both of us, and we've talked about this day for seriously the past 5 years. So for it to all come together and come to fruition within the same week span, it just seems like it has a little bit, a little some little flavor to it that's a little bit bigger than just the moment. So it's pretty cool, man. I'll be honest.
So where were you at, man, when you got this phone call that you're going to be on the Contender Series?
Oh, yeah. Funny enough, so I don't take naps. I don't. I'm very much like, if I'm tired, give me more caffeine. Like I'm looking for my next coffee all day to get me training. But for some reason, it was I think it was June 1st. I was just dog tired. I think I just got done hiking a mountain for like 14 hours out here in Colorado, like overnight kind of stuff. So I was like, I need to take a nap, man. I need to rest. So I go to lay down, and I'm in bed for maybe 30 minutes, and my phone's just going off. And I'm like, God damn, like the one time I want to sleep, like and here's the funny part. I'm thinking it's John Kuhneman, because the bastard's always calling me to train. So like I'm like, dude, I'm like, I'm getting pissed off. I'm like, do I go to grab my phone to turn it off because I'm thinking it's him, and then it's my manager, and he's FaceTiming me, which he never does. He always just calls me. I was like, oh shit. And so like I kind of sit up, tidy myself a little bit. I'm like, all right, let's see what this is about. And my girlfriend's right next to me, and I answer it, and he's like, Logan, how you doing, man? And I was like, oh, good to see you. He was like, what are you doing in August? And I was like, well, I have a feeling you're about to tell me. And he was like, August 18th, Contender Series week 2, baby. He was like, you're on. And I just immediately, I was just ecstatic. I think I immediately shot up, and any idea of a nap was gone at that point. I was ready to go train. I was ready to go get something in, but it was an awesome moment, and just was kind of funny to me how that all worked out.
So you're taking on Cristian Perez, week 2, a guy who was there last year, didn't go his way, gained the call again 2 years in a row. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent?
Yeah, funny enough too, I actually watched him on Contender Series last year because he was fighting Manuel Souza, who I have heard about on the regional scene because he fought my teammate Archie Colgan, and I've kind of been keeping my eyes on just different regional matchups and guys that I think I might face one day. So I was actually going into that fight looking at Manuel Souza, and then obviously by association I saw this kid Cristian Perez, and I'll be honest, I was impressed. I was watching the fight. He came out with a hard pace, throwing big shots, kind of leading the dance, pressuring Souza back. And I was like, okay, this kid's down to scrap. Like he's not messing around. And I thought he took the first 2 rounds, to be honest, pretty clearly. Didn't do a ton of damage, but I was like, yeah, he's up 2-0. He's winning. I was impressed. And then to my surprise, in the third round, he kind of just fell flat. I think he just blew his load a little bit in those first 2 rounds, and Souza took over and found the finish. To where when I saw that, I was like, damn. I was like, I was pretty surprised that somebody who was up 2 rounds couldn't find the tenacity or just that last little bit of something to drive them through the finish line. And I remember that's why I remember that fight distinctively. So I was a little bit surprised, and I was kind of putting myself in those shoes. I was like, oh, like I don't think that would happen to me. So then when I got the call this year, and then immediately the name Cristian Perez, I was like, oh, that sounds familiar. That definitely sounds familiar. And then when I looked him up, I was like, oh shit, he's the guy that fought Souza. And immediately all came together. I remember the fight. And I'll say right away, I was like, okay, damn, like I definitely have a challenge ahead of me. I have a gamer. He's going to come out and he's going to be, obviously looking to implement his game plan. But the asterisk on that is he did quit. He did look for a way out when things did not go the way he wanted it to. And I will say that is something that doesn't exist in me. So for that to be the case, I'm like, well, that's a fun fight. I'm a pressure fighter. He's a pressure fighter. So who's going to be able to lead the dance? Who's going to be able to get each other backing up and kind of pushing the pace to make the other one tired? And in my mind, it's like if I don't get the early finish, I'm more than happy to take it to deep waters because I think we know who will prevail when it does go to that round three.
One thing what I think the Contender Series is so cool is it's the ultimate job tryout. They've said it before on the show. They don't want guys coming on the show just grinding it out. They want guys going for the finish. They want guys putting it all on the line. When you look how you fight, when you look like he fights, there's no way this is a boring contest. Both of you
No,
guys
sir.
are guns blazing, always looking for the finish. Would you be shocked if this one hits the cards?
I would be very shocked because just like I said again, you just touched upon, we both have so many finishes between us. Like I gotta say, both of us have probably a 90% finish rate at least. So it's like that's pretty high stakes, and a lot of times you get those kind of matchups like on the UFC cards, and then it ends up being kind of a boring flat fight, and people are like, how the hell did that happen? Like, how do you have this on paper and then it's a boring fight? But what we have in front of us is the Contender Series. So there's, in the UFC, they're already there. They can kind of rest on their laurels a little bit. They can edge out a win and still live to fight another day. This is different. This is the Contender Series. This beckons us to go out there and maybe even fight a little bit out of our element to show the fans that we belong in the UFC. That this is not the end of our journey, but just the beginning. And that's how I view it. Christian Perez, he's not the end of my journey. He's literally the beginning of me getting to the next summit, the next mountain that I intend to climb. So that's how I view this, and that's why I'm so excited, and that's why I feel in every part of my body, down to my bones, that I am going to finish this man because that's what the moment expects of me, and I don't shy away from the moment.
The Contender really is the most unique show in the world. I mean, it's really the only fighting type show. You don't even get walkout music. No one's announcing your name. Hardly anyone is even in the building. You just go in there and you do it. Does that excite you? Do you like that intimate type of environment?
It's interesting. It's interesting. I'll say, like it's fun. It's fun to have the fans, so many fans in the crowd screaming, chanting. Like it makes it more electric. You feel it. Walkout music. It's fun. It's a good time. I'm down for it. I love to have a soundtrack behind me during an action sequence. But at the end of the day, that's not why I joined fighting. During a wrestling match, I know it's different, of course, but I never got walkout music. And sometimes you'd be in a quiet gym scenario with 10 people there, wrestling one of the biggest matches of your life. So, and then I've also been in situations where I've had thousands of people in the stands in wrestling matches or in my fighting for APFC, and it's as loud as can be. So I feel like I've kind of fought in every environment to where I'm comfortable wherever it goes. And to have those extra little things like the crowd, the music, it's all fun. It's all fun, but that's not why I'm there. I'm there to hurt somebody, and I think that all that stuff it's just extra. And I think on that moment it won't be a big deal for me.
Have you thought about that potential moment after the fight, the four other winners beside you, Dana White looking at you and saying, Logan, come get your contract?
That's all I've thought about since the day I got the announcement, brother. It's gonna be a surreal moment, but I've been visualizing it, and I know it's there for me. I've been replaying it in my head because I know it's in my future. So it's like why not obsess over it? But I will say, no matter what I've thought about, no matter what I've dreamt upon in my brain, it's gonna hit so much harder when it actually happens. I already know it's gonna be a pretty electric moment to where sometimes you can't quite contain the excitement, the buildup of all the emotions that comes out after a big win, and especially earning the contract that will traject me into the biggest opportunity in my life, in my career, and exactly where I felt like I belonged for so long. So it's an awesome moment, and I want to keep thinking about it, but it's gonna hit extra special that night.
What would it mean for you to be able to fight in the UFC?
It'd mean the world. It'd mean the world. I selfishly don't want to fight anywhere else. I want the UFC. The moment I first started watching fighting when I was, 16, 17 years old was the UFC. And it was then that's what made me fall in love with the sport and want to even keep wrestling through college. It's been kind of my why, my reason for being who I am and becoming the man I am to this day. It's gave me a purpose every day when I wake up, is that's the eventuality of my life. And I think it will then lead and segue to the rest of my life, whether it comes to a family, supporting my girlfriend and just living the life I want. I think this is a big stepping stone towards all of that. So it would mean the world. It'd mean the world, and I'm ready to take it.
How do you think you have grown and evolved from your time in martial arts?
Big time, because there's something like you kind of talked about the mental and physical earlier. I don't think people test themselves near enough in either discipline or either like facet of life, mentally or physically. A lot of times people have things that just happen to them, and how they deal with it may or may not be the best when it comes to having bosses or just weird work life, stuff like that. I've kind of been my own boss since I graduated college, and it's pretty cool. Of course, I've had to do some side jobs here and there, and like support myself however I can, because like we talked about, fighting doesn't necessarily pay the bills at this point. But I pretty much have decided what I want to do when I want to do it. I get myself up in the mornings to go train. I tell myself to stay disciplined, to cut 30 pounds of weight to make a fight, just all these different little extremities of my life. It's normal for me now because I've been doing it for, 15 years, including wrestling. But that discipline and that constant, this is a lifestyle. This isn't just like, oh, on and off switch. It's just how I wake up and how I do things. That is just it's just there's nothing better than that mindset to create success in your life, and to just understand what you are, what your value is as a person, what you're made of. All these questions that so many people, they still ask themselves. I've kind of found out through martial arts, because I've thrown myself against the hardest things possible. I've done tasks that I don't want to do when I'm exhausted, and I keep emerging on the other side, and I'm keep going to the places that I've always dreamt of going. So I think I'm doing something right, and it feels right. And I think my mental, my physical, my spiritual, all those things have just been so fine tuned and aligned to help me live this lifestyle.
In this day and age, there's much more fans that there's ever been. Now we have a term called the casual fan, right? Before I get into this, all fans are good. We need everybody.
Sure.
But sometimes you're at the fights, you hear twist them and you read all this craziness, you hear all these crazy takes. Everyone's a fighting expert now. For you, what do you make of all this? You try to have fun of it? Do you laugh at it? Is it just part of it? Does it tick you off? What do you make of all the chaos now?
So I'm not the biggest, like I don't take in a ton of social media. Like I use Instagram because I realize I have to be a influencer. I have to, be the exciting kind of that part of it. But I honestly don't, like, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on a bunch of things to where like I don't take in a bunch of like fan rhetoric and certain things, which I'm sure it exists already, even at my stage in my career. But I do find it funny most of the time. Or if there is someone's take on it, I'm like, you're allowed to have your opinion, brother. Like, I'm not here to stop you, but it's like, at the end of the day, I'm doing this and you're doing that. You're behind a screen doing God knows what, and you're talking about me. So I must be doing something right, whether it's good or bad. I must be doing something good if my name's in your mouth. That's just the way I view it, because it's like, people are going to talk about things that are provoke emotion, and if I'm provoking emotion, whether it's negative or positive in the world, then I'm making change. And that makes me a larger than life figure, which is kind of what I've always wanted to be.
I think for the most part, casual fans understand what you guys are doing and are you trying to get the UFC, to get fights, get bigger fights, win belts, all that stuff. My opinion, though, very few people understand the fight outside of the fight. And to me, that's fight not to clock in at 9 o'clock in the morning, clock in at 5. That's that fight to secure financial freedom. That's that fight to live life on your own terms, not follow societal norms, do what you want with this world. Has this been a big part of your journey?
Yes, 100%. Getting a place to be able to live that exact lifestyle, to be able to just kind of keep being my own boss. I think that, and I keep literally waking up to a world that I've dreamt of. The place that I've wanted to be, the places I wanted to go. I think that's one of the most important things to me, and the things that would keep me up at night is that I want to keep making sure that I am doing the right things, checking the right boxes, and being that person that can make the exact life that I want. Because I am a big dreamer, and I do have big aspirations, and that's just what's I think's in store for me. So I want to just keep doing those things, the right things, making the right choices, winning these kind of fights, putting myself in the spotlight. Being talked about, in social media by the casuals, by the professionals, whoever it is, just getting more. Look at Josh Hokett. Look at that guy. One of the biggest trajectories we've seen in modern media time. And funny enough, I actually met him last year at Contender Series because I was out there filming with John Kuhneman during his season. Dude was just super chill, polite, cool guy. Never would have thought in a million years he would blow up and have this shtick and persona that he's done. But people are talking shit, but it's working for him. He has a 500,000 followers, huge, fought in the White House card, top 5 in the world, wild trajectory. So I think, despite what people say, you got to stay true to you and have that vision and just keep sticking to it and just being who you are. And I think the rest will come. The rest will come.
For you, what do you want to accomplish in the sport? What's the ultimate goal for you?
I mean, it's going to sound pretty cliche, but obviously, I want to be the best. I want to be just I'll say whatever that looks like. I want to be the best version of myself possible when my story is said and done. I just want to be able to look back and say I did my best and I was my best and I gave people my best, whether that's in the ring, like I said, in my personal life, in with friends, family, any outside hobby or adventure I decide to do, and especially fighting. I just want to be able to look back and be proud of myself and just be that fighter that I've always knew that I am and could be. I think if I could look at that and just be my own favorite fighter, favorite character, and people who can acquiesce the same about me, I think I'll have lived a great life and I'll have a happy career.
So you're on a 9 fight win streak right now with a 100% finish rate in those 9 fights. Unfortunately lost to Jacoby Jones. Don't want to dwell on it much, but for you, how important was that fight for you? What are some of the takeaways that maybe helped us get in this crazy run we're on right now?
Yeah, man. Again, it's one of those things where it's I always that was my biggest fear. My biggest fear in fighting was losing. Yeah, even work. It kept me up at night. I would be terrified at the idea of losing because it made me. I knew that the minute I lost, I'd have to go so internal, so deep, and face that man inside of me that got beat by another man, and I didn't know what that would be like, what it would mean, but honestly, it was one of the best stepping stones to my entire career. I will say the fight itself wasn't quite as hard as a bitter pill to swallow as it could have been if I got knocked out or finished, and I will be a little biased and maybe sound a little egotistical, but I believe I actually won that fight, to be honest. So for that to be taken away from me, I feel like more like something was taken from me rather than I lost something, and that kind of lit a fire in my ass a little bit of like, I will never let someone take something from me again like that. I realized I had so many opportunities to finish him in that fight, but I was so green. I was so young and early in my career that I didn't quite know how to seize the moment and how to truly just finish a fight yet. I was more so looking for I just it's funny enough I say this. I don't remember maybe 12 minutes of that fight. The first 2 rounds and going to the third, I was completely unconscious, like blacked out. Like I would get so like intense, like so big in the moment that I would go to another place to where I really wouldn't remember my fights. And then there was a weird moment in that fight though, to where it was the last round. He just had a few minutes of a break because apparently I hit him in the back of the head, which I didn't get a warning for, and he came back and he started unloading on me his last little ditch effort to finish me. And I remember he kneed me really hard. I think it was a knee, I have no clue. And but literally that moment I came to. I literally remember everything after that moment, and I remember almost like feeling like I was gonna like be so tired and collapse, but then I remember there's a voice in my head that said like no, like finish the fight. And from that moment on, I went forward, took him back down, got some ground and pound. I thought I won the fight, didn't. But unlocking that little moment inside my brain from losing the fight, from waking up in a fight, because every other fight I had before that, I was blacked out. I've never not been 100% present since. So it's like something about that fight unlocked something in me because I had to push so deep. I was so exhausted. I was so hurt that unlocked the potential in myself. And may sound weird, but I believe that moment is what made me go on that 9 fight win streak and finish every fight since, because I was 100% conscious, presence, and dominant in every fight. So despite never want to lose, but if I had to, I'm not mad about it. It got me to this point now, and that's even a rematch I would love one day. I would love that if he got to the UFC, and so did I. But no, cool moment, big moment. But yeah, definitely a better fighter because of it.
All right, Logan, last question for me, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome August 18th when you make your debut to the Dana White Contender Series against Cristian Perez?
I'm going to break this man. Whether it's his mind or his body, something's going to be broken. Whether it's a head kick to the head or a punch, or it's in deep waters and I drown him with a finish, there will be blood, there will be violence, and there will be a finish. And I'm so excited to seize the moment.
Logan, man, thank you so much for taking time out fight camp. Absolutely deserve this opportunity, and can't wait to watch you do your thing, my man.
I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for your time, and yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Excited.
Absolutely. That's it for us, Stamp. Carl Perez. He is the Wolverine. He is Mr. Logan Paxton. You can watch him. Dana White Contender Series, week 2. Take it on Cristian Perez. Double League Fight fans. This one going to be fun. Take care.
Let's go. See you, brother.